lunch breakers and takers, do us a favor. Take a minute to hit that like and subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos in the future. All right, guys, first and foremost, we want to apologize for not doing the live show tonight. Some things came up, so we weren't able to do it. But hopefully, maybe tomorrow, as early as tomorrow, we'll do a makeup show. I know we have a lot to talk about. That's why we just want to give you guys a quick video tonight, so we can discuss the situation, what's going on, the coaching situation. So basically, John Harbaugh had his press conference today, and he basically said everybody's coming back. Wink, which we expected unless he got a head coaching job. But the big one, Greg Roman, he said he's not going anywhere, barring any head coaching opportunities for him, which I don't think he's going to get.
No.
So here we are. It's another season with Greg Roman. Now, there's a few things that he said in that press conference that really got under my skin, and it tells me that he hasn't learned anything. This organization hasn't learned anything. And look, it's early, right? The season just ended for us. So we got to see if he's just giving lip service or, he means what he says. But we got to see what he does this offseason. The organization does this offseason. But it just feels like the same old Ravens to me.
Yeah. We kind of mentioned it in our last show. Getting the feeling that he was going to be staying around. And it just shows that, like you said, they haven't learned anything. I think even beyond that, it's not that they haven't learned anything. It's that they know that's the way they want the offense to be.
Yeah.
They don't want it to be any different.
Right.
He even mentioned specifically Steve Smith and Kurt Warner kind of calling them out. And he said, no, I just don't agree. It's not. He's like, we're not going to be as complex as the Steelers, and that stands to reason. Not really, but okay.
Yeah. No. There's no reason to be. And this goes back to something that we've kind of touched on a little bit before, and it's not the organization. I think Ozzie and DeCosta have all the faith in Lamar. I think Harbaugh and his staff don't have that faith in him as a passer, which is why they kind of keep the offense basic. They just don't want to take it to the next level. And look, part of it might be because they don't have faith in him, and part of it is because they don't really have faith in Greg Roman either. Because
but if they didn't have faith in Greg Roman, he'd be gone.
Harbaugh is a very loyal friend. He's a very loyal friend.
This is true.
Because I remember when Juan Castillo was here, and that O-line got significantly worse. And I understand they said, oh, well, the linemen that we have they weren't zone blocking linemen, and that's the type of blocking scheme that he runs and all that stuff. Yeah, whatever. It didn't work, and it was clear that what's easier to replace, one guy or five guys. You know what I mean? And they stuck with the one guy. So he's going to hang on to his friends until the very end. I mean, even if you look at Marty Morningwig, he didn't get fired. Guys, he didn't get fired, and that was clear that he had to go. They brought in Greg Roman to replace him. He still wouldn't fire him. He just said, "Hey, look, I want to keep you around. I just got to demote you," and he left on his own.
Yeah.
So
they kind of did the same thing with Jim Caldwell. They didn't want him back, but they didn't want to fire him either.
Right.
They kind of waited around. They said, "Oh, let's hope somebody hires him."
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Like I said, it's early. I mean, they haven't even met. Done their meeting with the coach and GM and the owner like they do every summer. Yeah. Or end of the year. So it's early in the process. There's a lot of things that could still happen, but just from what he said in the press conference, I don't like it. Because the other thing that we can talk about, that wide receiver was brought up, and he did the Ravens thing of, oh yeah, sure, we would love to get a big target, a true number one wide receiver. And he didn't quite say true number one, but that's pretty much what he meant. But of course, it was with the caveat. But he's got to come at the right price.
Yeah.
And we're not going to beg people to come here. If you're just worried about your stats, then this isn't the place for you, and all that nonsense. And that tells me that you're just not serious about your offense. It just tells me you're not serious about the offense, because you wouldn't dare say that about the defense. When have you ever heard the Ravens say anything close to that on defense? Hey, if you're just worried about getting your sacks, then this isn't the place for you. They never say that. They never say that. They say, yeah, we need to go get some edge rushers.
Right. Yeah. He said we'd love to get a big-bodied receiver. Which again, we're going to quote Emory Hunt here: size is not a skill. I
No.
don't care how big you are. Go get a talented receiver.
Yes.
You don't need somebody who's big and slow and physical. You need somebody who can run routes and catch the ball.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
He also mentioned Yannick and Judon. He said that they were right about Judon and everybody else was wrong. And, he's very happy with Yannick. So, they did mention specifically they want Judon back. I don't think he actually said that about Ngakoue. So,
Right.
I mean, we'll see. Which to me, again, looks like the wrong decision. Get the younger, more talented player signed if you're going to sign one of them. So right now, I'm not too optimistic. The only thing I'm optimistic about with Baltimore this offseason is I think they will fix the offensive line. That's a thing that they do consistently and they know how to do.
Yes.
At this point, I'm not optimistic at all that they're going to fix the skill positions.
Yeah, so that's the only way this is going to work. So my thing is this. Harbaugh, by not getting rid of Greg Roman, and they don't upgrade the talent at the wide receiver position, he's doing himself. Because while DaCosta and Ozzie and Bashadi are probably backing him 100%, in the media and even behind closed doors, they're saying, yeah, we got you back, you're fine. I feel like he can't have another season like he did this year. And yes, they finished 11-5. They had a playoff win. That's pretty successful by most team standards, but not here in Baltimore. We have higher expectations, and you have another disappointing year, which is what it was.
Yeah,
I think they're all gone. I think Harbaugh will be fired. Obviously, Roman and Wink will all be gone as well. So it's really going to depend on what happens this offseason. Greg Roman, obviously, he's a limited offensive coordinator, and Harbaugh mentioned, execution has to be better. Well, execution gets better with coaching. So coaching or talent. So we already know that you can't. We already know that you can't coach him up to be that type of efficient wide receiver. We know that. That's never been the Ravens. That's never been Harbaugh or his staff. So now you're looking at talent, and there's guys out there. There's guys out there. So it's a matter of, are you going to spend the money? It's not a question of, do you have the money? You have the money. Are you going to spend the money? That's the question.
Yeah, we tweeted out a list of the free agent wide receivers and the receivers in the draft. So if you're not following us right now, go ahead and hit up Twitter or at LBHT Show, and you can see all of the receivers available.
Yeah,
like I said, execution gets better one of two ways: talent or coaching. And it's not just the wide receiver position. You know that he can't coach, period, because they're still in the divisional round of the playoffs. They were still getting multiple pre-snap penalties, multiple procedural penalties on offense.
Yes.
It never got better.
Yes.
It never got better at any point during the season. So he's just doing a bad job. I'm not sure why the rest of the NFL is trying to poach players from their offensive staff right now, but they did a terrible job this season. So, like you said, one more year. If you come back and you don't get an Allen Robinson or a Kenny Galladay or draft somebody in the first round, you're going to come back. The offense is going to look very similar. You'll go to the playoffs. You'll get beat. And then hopefully they'll all be gone.
Listen, the only reason some fans are okay with what's going on here is it goes back to what we're saying. I know people don't like to hear the race aspect of it, but it absolutely plays a factor. He's a black athletic quarterback, and you figure, well, he's naturally not as good of a passer, so you're playing to his strengths. So he's a better runner than he is a passer. Well, not necessarily. You don't know that because you're not giving him an opportunity to pass the ball. He showed you in college that he can be a very good passer. That he is a very good passer, and if you don't believe that, ask yourself this: if Ryan Tannehill, who played wide receiver in college, if Ryan Tannehill was running the ball 10 to 15 times a game, would you be saying, yeah, that's playing to his strengths, or would you be saying, why are you running your quarterback 10 to 15 times a game?
Right.
Be honest about it.
Same thing with Alex Smith. Alex Smith he ran a ton in college.
Yes.
You know, nobody would have been okay with him running the ball that much in the NFL because he's
No.
a quarterback.
Exactly. So Lamar's just being mismanaged way too early on, and he's getting, they're getting away with it because he's young.
Mm-hmm.
You can only do that, but for so long before you have to come up with a better plan. So
Right.
next season, look, the staff is coming back. It's going to be the same offense, so he's going to be doing some more running, which I think is just detrimental to his growth. But if you get some talent there, yeah, okay, at least we can be more efficient in the passing plays that we do run. Because right now you're trying to run. When you talk about efficiency, hey, we got to be more efficient on those plays that we run. You can't do that with first and second year wide receivers.
Yeah. One of the guys who frequents our live streams and comments a lot, Jazzy J.
Shout
Shout
out
out
to
to
Jassy
Jay.
J, man.
Yeah. He made the comment that if you put Pat Mahomes or another quarterback in Baltimore, they wouldn't go as far as they do with Lamar. I think that's true. I agree with that. But that's an indictment of the way they've built Baltimore.
Yes.
The Ravens roster.
Yes.
Because they've intentionally engineered a team where Lamar Jackson has to run 15 times a game for them to be competitive. No other team does that.
Right.
Nobody does that. I mean, except for the Patriots this year when they didn't have literally any receivers. But yeah, no, they're not trying to build an offense that will score points. They're not trying to build an offense that'll be able to pass the ball. And so yeah, you're left with what you're left with. He has to make all the plays, and then of course he gets to take all the blame.
I mean, look what happened to poor Trace McSorley, man. When they try to run the same offense, he twisted up his knee because he's not Lamar Jackson. You can't move like Lamar Jackson. And the only reason, and look, Greg Roman gets a lot of credit. I don't think he's a bad run game coordinator. I don't. I think he's good, but he gets too much credit for being this excellent run game coordinator. Oh, nobody draws up run plays better than he does. Yeah, Kyle Shanahan does. He draws up much better plays than Greg Roman because he knows how to use his running backs. Greg Roman can get away with that stuff because he gets supreme talent at the quarterback position, which is almost impossible to stop, right? Kaepernick was that way, Tyrod was that way, and now you got Lamar Jackson. These are guys that are super athletic, so it makes it extremely hard to focus completely on stopping the running back because you have quarterbacks that can run the ball. That's not complicated to do, right? You're using your athletic quarterback to get credit for your play calling. But the minute that quarterback goes out and you got to go to a regular quarterback.
No, it's not complicated to do, but props to Roman. He figured out how to do it. Most coaches in the NFL couldn't.
Yes.
But yeah, he attaches himself to superior athletes at the quarterback position, and most teams, you can't even really prepare for that because you don't have a guy who can emulate that.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, he found kind of an inefficiency in the league and been able to exploit it. But like I said, you can't take a quarterback as talented as Lamar and run him 15 times a game and say he doesn't need wide receivers and expect that you're actually going to win anything in this league.
No, absolutely not. And this part is not on Greg Roman because he doesn't control who comes on the team, who doesn't. It's time. He needs to bang on the table and try to convince them to get him some talent. He needs to say, hey, look, my passing plays, I can do more in the passing game with more talent or more experience because you're trying to get me to be running an efficient passing game and superior run game with guys that are just learning how to play football. All right.
Yeah.
And they're at a point where, one, this team has never been able to really develop offensive players, especially wide receivers. And two, we're in a position where we're not rebuilding. So we're not really trying to develop players like that. We're just trying to win. So go and get guys that are ready to go out there and do that. Because, yeah, I agree. The same play calling that they're doing now, yeah, we have Allen Robinson out there and Curtis Samuel. It was completely different. Those guys know how to make the right adjustments. They know how to attack the ball. They know how to do things that these young guys just don't know how to do.
Yeah, and they've dealt with the pressure of playing in the NFL. I think that's we've said before. I think that was the main problem with Hollywood this year. The pressure of his position kind of got to him. He's second year, first year healthy, and the whole offense, the whole passing game is on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, you talk about guys like Allen Robinson. He's carried NFL offenses before. That's nothing new for him.
Right.
Curtis Samuel, he's played 4 years in the NFL. He had 1,000 yards from scrimmage last year. Like, you can put him out there and he knows what he's doing. He'll execute his job.
Yeah.
They don't have guys like that right now.
Right. So, like I said, it's early. We have to see what they do this offseason. But just based off of Harbaugh's comments today, not inspiring.
No.